So good morning, students. In the last class, we were discussing about the taxonomical aids. In that taxonomical aids, first we had talked about the herbarium. Okay, herbarium means which is a storehouse in which the plant specimens are preserved, and that plant specimens will be dried, pressed, then it is going to preserve. And that particular, they are going to paste on the sheets, and that sheets will have a description about that particular plant species. So that storehouse is known as the herbarium, and that store or whatever the herbarium or whatever the arrangement, it should be universally accepted. Okay. The next, the second taxonomical aid is botanical garden. Second one, that it is botanical gardens. Okay, here botanical gardens means this specialized garden have collection of living plants for reference. This specialized gardens have collection of living plants for reference. Living plants for reference, and which is used for the identification and classification of the plant species. Okay, here you see that these are the specialized gardens where you will see all the living plants are preserved. Okay, not preserved, living plants will be there. Okay, living plants for what? For reference. If you want any information, any knowledge, anything from that particular plant, means you can refer or you can visit to the botanical gardens. Okay, for what purpose these gardens are there means they are grown for the identification of plants of each plant or of specific plants. Okay, so plant species in these gardens are grown for plant species in this garden are grown for identification the next identification purpose, and each plant is labeled. Here also each plant is labeled with their name. Okay, each plant is labeled including their botanical or the scientific name. Including local name also will be labeled there, as well as their local and botanical names. One example I will tell you here. If you want to identify or you want some reference about that particular plant, for example, this is the plant. Here they will label this plant on this labeling. They will write the local name as well as the scientific name. They are going to grow there in that particular area, so that it is known as the botanical garden. With these names, they also label there to which family does this belong. Okay, they will write the family name also, or the family to which this plant is going to belong. Okay, so this is about what? Botanical gardens. So next we will see what are the famous botanical gardens in the world as well as in the India. The famous botanical garden at Kew, that is in England. Famous botanical garden. That it is located and the name of that famous botanical garden. See, this is the name of that botanical garden, which is located in Kiev, that is in England. Okay, the next botanical garden, Indian Botanical Garden. This is first one, second one, Indian Botanical Garden, which is located in Howrah. Howrah in India. This is the second botanical garden. And third, National Botanical Research Institute. National Botanical Research Institute. Okay, what it is? National Botanical Research Institute. That is located in Lucknow in India. Lucknow in India. Okay, so this is about what? The botanical gardens. Next we will go for the third taxonomical aid, that is the museum. See about the museum. Third one, museum. Here, as you know, the museums are set up in the educational institutes such as schools or colleges. Okay, you are familiar with the term museum. Okay, so here, for what reason they are generally set up in the educational institutes such as schools or colleges, means to get the knowledge or to get the information about that particular living organisms. So museums have collections of preserved plants, or it has collection of plants preserved, or preserved collections of preserved plants, and animal specimens, For what reason they are preserving their means? For reference. Okay, for reference. This is known as the museums. And here you see the specimens are preserved in containers or the jars, and that containers or the jars will contain the preservatives which can preserve the animals or the plants. Okay, here the specimens are preserved in containers or jars. Okay, and these containers or jars will contain the preservatives. One example I will tell you, for preserving the animals, formaldehyde they will use so that their body should not get decomposed. Okay, so which is that chemical? By using some chemicals, what they will do? They will preserve them in the glass jars or the containers. The next and whatever as well as some of the plant species or plant specimens will be preserved as a dry. Okay, that means their leaves, their flowers are going to dried and pressed. How they are going to store in the herbarium, like that only they are going to preserve here also. The next taxonomical aid, the last one, here it comes the key. After museum, one more is there, zoological parks. Then comes the fourth one, that it is the zoological parks. Zoological parks means these are the places where wild animals are in a protected environment. Okay, wild animals kept in a protected environment. Why they are protecting? They should not get harmed by some other animals. One more thing, they should not harm to the other animals. For that reason, they are going to protect in some cages, in some rooms and all. Okay, what? That is wild animals. Especially, they will keep the wild animals such as lion, giraffe, crocodile, tiger, cheetah and all, whatever which is not found in our day-to-day life, which are found in forest and all. That type of animals are kept in a protected environment with under the human care and protection. Okay, some members will be there who will look after them by giving food at a time, whatever the food they require, at what time they require, they will feed them. Okay, such care will be taken in what? In the zoological parks. For what thing they will preserve these animals, or for what thing they are protecting these animals means, so here for the what we call for entertainment and next for reference. Okay, these are the two things. So small children will like to go for the zoo and all for entertainment and next for the reference. So this is about the zoological part. Then last fifth one, that it is the key. This is another taxonomical aid for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. See here, another this key is used. This is also one of the taxonomical aid used for identification. Used for identification of plants and animals. Plants and animals based on their similarities and based on their similarities and dissimilarities. Based on that, here they are going to identify both, that is plants and the animals. What they are referring here means, what they are seeing here means, they are seeing the similarities among the characters, morphological characters, their habitat. Okay, so by seeing such characters, they are going to identify the plants and animals. So this key are based on the contrasting characters. This key is based on the contrasting characters. Contrasting characters means the characters which can be easily identified. Okay, contrasting characters, and generally in a pair. Contrasting character, and that character generally it will be in a pair. Generally in a pair, and this process of identifying the plants or animals on the basis of contrasting character, and that characters will be in a pair. Okay, and this is known as the couplet. What it is known as? Couplet. One example I will tell you here, identifying among the birds and the amphibians. These are the vertebrates. Okay, one example I will tell. Example, frog. Frog and bird. They have to identify. How they will use the couplet for identifying this means they will give two characters. These characters are the key. Okay, key to identify the animals or what it is here. For example, frog, not frog, lives on land and water. Okay, this is one contrasting character. Beside this, they will write found in, not found. Found, not found. Okay, only the thing if they are talking about the frog. Frog is an animal. By using that key, we have to what? We have to identify. So this is the animal found. Found we can write it as the 1 and not found we can write it as the 2. If we only write 1, we will come to know yes, this is the animal which lives on the land and water. If you write bird, then we can write 2. Okay, one more example, one more contrasting character I will take here. That is example presence of wings. Okay, here 2 keys will be there. Present. This is the first one. Second one is the opposite. If there is give frog, then you can write 2. Bird means 1. In this sense, they are going to identify the plants or animals. Okay, by using the keys. Okay, so this is about what? About the couplet. So this results in acceptance of one character and other is rejected. Okay, if this is the sentence, this is the character, one is accepted for frog and rejected for another animal. Here, one is accepted for bird and rejected for another animal. Okay, so each statement in the key is called the lead. Whatever the statement, for example, this is the statement. Okay, in this key in this couplet, in this key, whatever the statement they are going to give, this statement we can call it as the lead. Each statement in the key is known as the lead. Okay, here this is one lead, here is also one lead. Understood? The next, so like this, keys are generally analytical in nature for identification of the plants and animals. The next comes some more taxonomical aids, that is flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs. So let's see here some other means for recording descriptions. Okay, to record the information about that particular plant or animal, there are some terms, there are some aids over here, that is, I will write here. Now see here, flora, manuals, monographs, then catalogs. These are the 4 are some means, other means for recording description. Recording the description means whatever the characters or the description will be there. Description means their names, their family. Flora means contains the actual account of habitat and distribution of plant. Actual habitat and distribution of plants. Distribution of plants of a given area. See here, flora means what is the actual habitat? Habitat means the region where they will grow. Okay, the region where actually they will grow. Some plants will grow in deciduous forest, some plant will grow normal forest in agriculture field in gardens and all. There will be varied type of or varied habitats among the plants. Okay, so their actual habitat will be written in the flora as well as distribution of plants. In which regions, in which part of the world they had been distributed. That thing of a given area. So that is mentioned in what? In the flora. So this flora will give an index of plant specimen, plant species. It provides the index of plant species. It provides index of plant species in a given area, as well as in a given area. Index means how many number of plants will be there. Okay, in a particular area, how many number of plants will be there, that is also given by whom? By the flora. The next comes manuals. Manuals are useful in providing information for identification of names, useful in providing information of names of species found in a area. Identification of names of species in a given area. Okay, name of species, not name of plant. That is given in manuals. Then monograph and catalogs contain on any one taxon information on the basis of taxon. Okay, it contains the information on any one taxon. On any one taxon. Taxon means, here I told you, unit of classification. Either it may be species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. On the basis of that, the plants are going to identify. So that is the monologue or what you call that, monograph or catalogs. So this is about the chapter 1, that is the living world. So here ends your chapter. And what are the questions means from this chapter? For 1 marks, I will write here. For 1 marks, define species, genus, family, order, and class. This is one. Define taxon. Okay. Then what is herbarium? Okay. Then next, expand ICBN and ICZN. This will be asked for 1 marks. Except this, they will ask For 2 marks. What is key? How it is helpful in identification of organism. Then for 5 marks, illustrate the taxonomical hierarchy. Illustrate the taxonomical hierarchy. That means the arrangement one by one you have to illustrate. Okay. The next with suitable examples of plant. One plant you have to give an example and one animal. By taking one plant and one animal, you have to illustrate the taxonomical hierarchy. Okay, this will be asked for 5 marks. Okay, sometimes they will write one more very important question for 3 marks. That it is for 3 marks. That is, write the universal rules for binomial nomenclature. In 1 marks, one more question. Who first given the rules for binomial nomenclature? Okay, so this will be the questions which will ask in your theory exam. From these questions only they will ask. Okay, thank you. In next class, I will continue with a new chapter, that it is the biological classification. In that chapter, how the living organisms are classified and how they are classified, on what basis all the living organism has been classified into 5 kingdoms. First, before it was, Aristotle has been Aristotle has been classified only 2 classes, that is only 2 kingdoms, that is plants and animals. Among that 2 kingdoms only, they used to put all the living organisms. But further, by seeing all the characters, they had classified the different 5 kingdoms. By whom means, that is by R.H. Whitaker. Okay, what are that 5 kingdom means? That is kingdom Monera, Protista, Mycota, Plantae and Animalia. So in the next chapter, we will talk about in detail what are their classification with examples. We will talk about all about these kingdoms, and lastly we will talk about the viruses, viroids and prions. Okay, so this is about the second chapter that we will continue in the next class.